Alright, here we go. We're gonna talk about the new Star Wars Battlefront game that's coming out next month. I know the beta's already over, but I've got some footage, and I'd like to talk about the Star Wars Battlefront game versus Star Wars Battlefront 2. Now, if you're looking at the video already, you've seen that there's a couple of different modes where there's multiplayer and single player, which is the missions, but you can also do two-player, which is split screen. Multiplayer, which is online only, I'm assuming, only has 7 maps. So right out of the box, you only get 7. But if we look at the Collect tab and go to the Unlocks, you can see that there's a couple of things that you can unlock in the beta. Obviously, there should be more in the full game. And the different types of weapons and tactical things that you can use. You can have up to 4 things equipped in the beta. I don't exactly know how many there will be allowed to be equipped in the full game. I preferably like the cycler rifle with the jump pack, because that combination together has gotten me out of some pretty thick and thin situations where you just gotta kind of get out of there and get back in. If you use the jump pack at specific times, you can get out very easily of a really bad situation. The ion shot is like a way to shoot down different targets that are in a vehicle of some sort. I've not been able to swap my character, so I'm hoping there's more than just the Imperials versus the Rebels, because that's not that cool. Although there is a blasters tab, out of all of them, the fastest one is the DLT, which is, it's just ridiculous. The DLT is so powerful. It shoots so much faster than the others, and compared to the other weapons in the game, they don't actually compare, in my opinion, because the other two weapons pretty much shoot and feel the same. The DTL has a much faster rate of fire than the DLT, I mean. Oh man, it sounds like a BLT. I mean, seriously, why are we talking about a DLT here? I mean, BLT, DLT. But anyway, if you notice when I'm playing the game though, sometimes when I'm shooting at a target and I'm like directly at the target, they somehow manage not to hit. And I have not figured out if there's any kind of bullet drop, because we're talking about Star Wars. There shouldn't be like a whole lot of a bullet drop, if there is any, because we're shooting lasers. We're not exactly shooting bullets, so there's nothing for it to drop. Although the graphics are phenomenal. If you look at Star Wars Battlefront 2, the graphics are definitely an up. Customizing a character is an up. But a downside is we haven't seen any other types of people that we can play as. There's only the Imperials or the Rebels. I would like to be able to play as something a little bit more, like maybe the droids or the CIS, if you'd like to call it, versus the clones, which is the Republic. Because though I personally like playing as clone troopers, and the clone troopers, I like the different types of armor that they had. And if you're only allowed to play as the Rebels versus the Imperials, then right out of the box we're looking at only 7 game modes with only 2 different factions. And in the Star Wars series, there's a lot more, because you do see clone troopers and you see droids. It'd be kind of cool to customize a droid, I would think, because you'd be able to pick like what size you want. Would you like a super battle droid and equip it like blasters on your arms, or would you like a regular battle droid and pick out a different blaster rifle, like being able to hold a blaster rifle? I think that'd be a pretty neat idea. But so far it's just these two. I also don't like how the guns are like different. There's different ways of finding a gun, like I guess I could say, because you can find the rocket launcher on the map, but the sniper rifle is a game card, but then the blaster rifles are your equipped weapon. So there's all different types of ways of getting weapons, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Also, if you notice Luke Skywalker, who I'm about to take down right now, he is in his regular Jedi outfit. He's not in a pilot outfit, which would make more sense for Hoth. He's in his outfit from the Jedi Returns, which he lost his hand, so he's got his black glove on covering his robotic hand, just like Darth Vader had his arms and legs cut off, so he's got gloves. The game doesn't make a whole lot of sense towards the movies, which if you don't really care, then that's fine. But if you're looking to play a game that represents a lot of what the movies are, then I would suggest playing Star Wars Battlefront 2, because it's also a lot more fast-paced than playing just the Star Wars Battlefront 3. I'm going to call it Star Wars Battlefront 3. If you compare the single players, there's a whole lot more than just playing the 7 multiplayer maps, and then the single player has Survive and Training and some other thing. So if you get the game to play on single player, you're not going to get anything really for your money, because other than the graphics, there's nothing else that you can really do with a single player version of the game. I do have to say the graphics are a huge step up though, because DICE did a fantastic job. The other difference is there is first person in the second game and the third game. First person was always an option. I don't understand why my friend came over and was freaking out there's first person. I went on Star Wars Battlefront 2 and showed him first person, and he was like, oh. And then the other difference between the two Star Wars games is the Star Wars Battlefront 3, you unlock weapons and things like that through leveling up. In Star Wars Battlefront 2, you get to pick your character with the weapons already there. So you get more than just one weapon though. I would like being able to have like a pistol and then a regular weapon, because some people just walked around with the pistol and it was just as powerful as the regular blaster rifle. So I didn't really quite see the difference between those two weapons at all. I've also like to point out how many more maps there are in Star Wars Battlefront 2 versus the new Star Wars Battlefront game, because in Star Wars Battlefront 3 there's only 7 maps that I've seen, and if you go to single player there's only 1. Hopefully they're gonna have some other way of changing them, but right out of the box it looks like there's only 7 for multiplayer, 1 for single player. But in Star Wars Battlefront 2 you get 18 maps that you can play on the surface, and then 6 maps that you can play in space. So already you've got maps that you can play in space. In Star Wars Battlefront 3, there is no space maps at all. There's not a single one, and I'm pretty sure they said that there wasn't going to be. I do like how fast-paced the fighting is though, up high, when you're flying around super fast. But I'm gonna sidetrack just a second now, back to the hero versus like a villain. They're both extremely slow. You walk around very slow and you fight very slow for a Jedi or a Sith Lord. So in Star Wars Battlefront 2 you could sprint super fast, like across the map in like 10 seconds, and then you could kill an enemy and then you gain more health. In Star Wars Battlefront 3 I don't even know how to gain health. I haven't even seen it, and I've played as the hero a couple of times. And the fighting style itself is very slow. It's kind of sluggish for two Jedi, or a Jedi and a Sith Lord, to be going at it. I can see why they toned it down from Star Wars Battlefront 2, because of people fighting through so quickly that you pretty much lose within 10 seconds. And I've got a lot of gameplay going on of Star Wars Battlefront 2 now, because I still really like this game. With the mods put in, it is so much more fun. I will upload a link of the full game with the mods if anybody would like to download it. Right now I'm playing as a Republic Commando from Star Wars: The Republic Commandos. The people that modded this game did a phenomenal job of putting in a Republic Commando. I think this game is by far still better than Star Wars Battlefront 3 for what you can do versus what you can't do, because there's so much more in Star Wars Battlefront 2 versus the Star Wars Battlefront 3 that's coming out. Star Wars Battlefront 3 did a great job with graphics wise and the way that the game feels when you run around and look around, but for the weapons they're all practically the same, and for such little amount of maps there's hardly anything. I also don't like how easy it is for the Imperials to win over the Rebels on Walker Assault, because it gives the Rebels just a hard time almost the entire match, and you're almost nearly impossible to winning if you're the Rebels. And it doesn't make it fun. It doesn't make the game fun. If you know you're gonna lose, you're gonna play like half-assed. But in Star Wars Battlefront 2, like I'm about to lose right now, I still have a chance of winning, because as long as I'm running around doing my thing, trying to win, I still have that chance of winning, and I know I do. And having the upper hand as CIS with the Geonosians on the planet, every time I kill a Geonosian, it doesn't help with the unit count at all. So it still gives the droids the upper hand, but in Star Wars Battlefront 3, there is no like upper hand other than the AT-ATs just walk so slow and practically get to the enemy base and just blow up the Rebels base bunker. So it doesn't make it that much fun. And I also, in Star Wars Battlefront 2, there is ships and things throughout the map that you can pick up. And you do kind of have that sort of same feel in Star Wars Battlefront 3, but it's not the same, because you can only get into the little icon pickup, and there's been times where I see an icon and I'm running towards it, and I'm trying to get in, I want to get into a spaceship or something, and just before I get there, my teammate walks over and picks it up instead. So it means only like 1 or 2 people can get that card and be in the ship, which limits the amount of airspace, but at the same time, I'd like a set area for the planes or the spaceships, because in Star Wars Battlefront 2, the spaceships on Hoth are always in the bunker. You know where they are. You can just run in there, pick one up, and fly around. I know I didn't put any video of Hoth in here because I just have so many other things that I wanted to show to prove how much better Star Wars Battlefront 2 is, in my opinion, because you've got so many different game modes and different maps that you can pick. You can pick the map and then pick the game mode. And with these mods, there's so many more maps that you can pick. Right now, I'm still playing Star Wars Battlefront 2, but I'm playing on a Star Wars Battlefront 1 map. And I'm doing Order 66, which we all know is the Jedis versus the Clone Troopers, because the Clone Troopers turned on all the Jedi and killed them all. So it is harder to win as the Jedi. I have lost a couple of times, and if you've noticed right now, it's about tied game, so it's still pretty difficult to win as a Jedi. And but also at the same time, I know I have a chance of winning, and throughout like the middle of this battle, I was losing pretty badly, and I almost thought I wasn't gonna win, but I do end up winning, just like I won 2 to like 13 or whatever in the last game. But before I finished capturing all the command posts, it ended up being 2 to 4. So the clones could have died. If I died once, my team probably would have lost. And if you're playing Walker Assault and you're the Imperials, you can just run around and kill as many people as you want, because you've got nothing else distracting you. If you're playing as the Rebels, you have to shoot at the AT-ATs when the Y-Wings come in and keep it neutralized, because otherwise you're pretty much going to lose if you're too busy trying to shoot at the people on the ground. The only way of winning that is by shooting at the walkers when you have the chance. And oh, I just got him on the backhand. That's funny. But in Star Wars Battlefront 2, when you play on the map Hoth, Luke Skywalker is in his pilot uniform. That was like my favorite one, and that was my brother's favorite one as a kid to play as, because it's a different version of Luke Skywalker, one that you don't get to see very often. He's got a blue lightsaber, and he's in his pilot outfit, unlike Star Wars Battlefront 3, where he's in his Jedi uniform with his green lightsaber. When he was on that planet, he was in his snowspeeder, and he was flying around, and then he got blown up, so he went down, and he got out of his ship and started attacking the AT-AT. But overall, the Imperials do win that battle, so in my opinion, it's alright that the Imperials do have the upper hand, but I don't like how much of an upper hand they have on that map. In Star Wars Battlefront 2, the Imperials do have a little bit of an upper hand, because they get the AT-ATs and they get the AT-STs. I do like the AT-ST in Star Wars Battlefront 3, though. I do have to say that one is pretty cool. I never got to play in it, but I saw people in it, and I've blown them up a couple of times. But now, if you're looking at the video, I've also got some gameplay of Darth Terrius, I think is what his name is. He's the guy from Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, and he can use like his lightsabers with force powers, I think. I'm pretty sure he's from Knights of the Old Republic, because this is a Knights of the Old Republic map with Knights of the Old Republic characters. And with these mods, you can play as different characters from those two games, which in my opinion, Knights of the Old Republic has like a special place in my heart, because it was like one of the first video games I ever beat as a child, all the way by myself. And it was so cool because I got to be a Jedi, I got to make my own character, I had my own story, but it delivered such a satisfaction playing. I mean, I didn't like the turn-based attacking, but other than that, it was a pretty interesting game. I do like the Star Wars Battlefront 3, the way the Jedi look and everything. But in Star Wars Battlefront 2, there is a much faster pace of fighting, as you can see from the way I'm fighting right now. The other thing that I'd like to touch on is there is quite a bit of bugs for Star Wars Battlefront 3. I do understand it's a beta, and it's pretty much to release how many more technical things that they have to fix in the game. And I do have to say that I made a YouTube video of a couple of glitches that I saw myself, which was people just kind of floating in the air when they died, or when I did see a different YouTube video that wasn't mine, where somebody died and they were like stuck on a turret and their body was spazzing out. It looked kind of ridiculous to me. And one of the other bugs that I've seen in Star Wars Battlefront 3 is you can fall out of the map, and when you fall infinitely. So you can't get back to the battle, you can't get back to the action. The way that I would think of fixing something like that is maybe that person could quit out of the game and rejoin back, but that's kind of stupid. I think there should be some sort of respawn button, because if you want to kill yourself, you should be able to kill yourself. But in Star Wars Battlefront 2, if you fall out of the map, then you fall for a little bit and you do die. That way it puts you back in the game, because otherwise you're kind of stuck falling infinitely, which is really, really stupid. In Star Wars Battlefront 3, I saw those videos, they were just falling forever. So other than Star Wars Battlefront 3 versus Star Wars Battlefront 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2 has a lot more gameplay, but Star Wars Battlefront 3 has a very fast-paced fighting for a soldier. You can run around, jet jump, use a blaster rifle, all that stuff. But if you're if you have the jet jump thing in Star Wars Battlefront 3 versus Star Wars Battlefront 2, there's a jet pack, which I'm hoping they'll have in the full version of the game, because the jet pack allowed you to kind of adjust the amount of up you wanted to go, and you could fly for a little bit longer than just jumping to an area. Because there's a couple of times where you're trying to jump to an area on a map, and in Star Wars Battlefront 3, and I couldn't jump up enough to get to where I wanted to try to go, and it was only because like I would jump up and hit the rock and bounce back. It was really stupid. It really made you aggravated. In Star Wars Battlefront 2, you have the ability of jet packing around, and it was almost like flying like Boba Fett. And if there is Boba Fett, if you can play as him as like a hero, I hope he gets a jetpack at the very least, because jet jumping with Boba Fett would be kind of stupid, and he probably wouldn't be very powerful, in my opinion, because he would just have a blaster and armor. Unless he's got to have like stronger armor like Luke and Darth Vader had, like versus how many bullets they could take, like absorb. But if you don't have the ability to jet pack around as Boba Fett, then I think Boba Fett shouldn't even be in the game, because he'll be just such a weak villain. It wouldn't be worth really anything. I mean, he could have like blaster rifles and his pistols, and then like thermal detonators along with the wrist rockets and a jet jump. That might make it okay, because at least he could like jump around. It'd be kind of stupid, but with wrist rockets and thermal detonators, if he's like all decked out with all kinds of different weapons, then he'd be a really cool character to play. My video here is getting pretty close to being done. I still have a bit more of Star Wars Battlefront 2 gameplay that I'm gonna keep showing, because I like this game a lot. There's also the healing thing in this map. At first when I played this map, I didn't know that they had one. I kept just running around getting killed, and later on I found it in the medical bay. And this map is called the Endar Spire. The people modded it into Star Wars Battlefront 2 right out of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, which is really cool. And this guy, Darth Nihilus, is ridiculous. The way they modded him into the game, his lightsaber attacks are really slow and sluggish, just like in Star Wars Battlefront 3. But his lightning is so overpowered. I just killed everybody right there in that group of people. I just took out like 5 people with my lightning, because the lightning attack is so OP as Darth Nihilus. But to touch back with Star Wars Battlefront 3, Star Wars Battlefront 3, the force powers are not that powerful at all. Darth Vader is pretty cool because he gets to do that force choke, and you can just like force choke and walk away, I guess. But this game, you could do like a lightsaber throw and a force choke. You had like 2 force powers, your saber attacks, and depending on if you were jumping around and attacking, you had like better attacks or different attacks. In Star Wars Battlefront 3, there's like 1 base attack on top of the card attacks, which are like a heavy attack, and then like I know there's a force attack, which I think Luke Skywalker's like force push or something. Darth Vader's force choke. And then there's the heavy attack, which is the Y button. And then the other card, I can't remember off the top of my head what it was. I didn't get to play as the heroes all that often. But I also didn't like how there was no way of healing as a hero or a villain in Star Wars Battlefront 3. In Star Wars Battlefront 2, as long as you killed somebody, you got a little bit of health, which did make you pretty powerful, because you could just run into a bunch of people. They'd start shooting at you, you just lightning them or something, or throw a lightsaber, kill them all, get a bunch of health back. But if you're worried about people just spamming around as the hero, you don't have to worry about that in Star Wars Battlefront 3, because of you have to find the hero instead of being able to pick him which is a very huge difference between the two games. Because if you're doing the best on the team in Star Wars Battlefront 2, and you wanna be the Jedi, then you can. And if you say no, then the second best person gets it. So it goes down in a cycle as long as everybody says no. And if you say yes, you're already the best one on the team at that current point in time. Just being the hero makes you all that much better because you're so much stronger than the regular people that walk around, which makes sense because like one lightsaber attack should kill a regular person because it's a lightsaber. In Star Wars Battlefront 3, you walk around so slow, and at the same time there's no way of gaining health. And in this game particularly, because mine is modded, I have the ability of playing the Old Republic versus the Empire, which I think is extremely cool because I get to play as different characters from a different game. It's like, it's all crazy. It's really crazy. It's really cool. And if you have the modded version, you have over 50 maps, which that doesn't even include the game types. If you like add all of the possible combinations, you're in the thousands. In Star Wars Battlefront 3, you get like 7 because the map is the game type, which is very unfortunate because the Star Wars like trilogy itself had so many places that they visited. I don't even remember seeing the Death Star as a playable thing in Star Wars Battlefront 3, which the Death Star would be extremely cool to see all like modernized with today's technology. But I'm pretty much gonna get down to like a conclusion here of which game you would probably prefer. If you like fast-paced, just shoot 'em up kind of games like Call of Duty, you're definitely gonna like the new Star Wars game better than the old Star Wars game. And you're just gonna you'll have just such a more fun time just shooting things. And if you like graphics versus older graphics, then you're gonna like the new Star Wars game. But if you like the amount of things that you can do in Star Wars, like if you can fully see what you're playing as, like in Star Wars Battlefront 2, you can tell I'm playing as I don't know if it's a stormtrooper or just a Sith guard, I think is what they're called. But Sith trooper. But if you play as a Sith trooper, you can tell I was playing as a Sith trooper. And now that I'm playing as a Sith warbot, you can tell I look like a blocky bot. And I think that being able to play as different characters in the Star Wars series, I think that's just so much cooler than just picking. Well, technically, you don't even get to pick a side that you want to be on. You just get told what you are from the auto pick thing. But if you haven't seen anything that makes you want to get this game or the next game, I'm about to show you something that's going to make you just want to play the new Star Wars Battlefront 2 with mods. Because Star Wars Battlefront 3 will, well, if you read this website right here and you scroll down, they're like, oh yay, Star Wars Battlefront gets an extra day. If you scroll down a bit more, they talked about a season pass. Now EA has been known to have season passes, and if they add a season pass, you know it's going to cost money, which means you're going to have to pay to play online. I'm sorry, but you're going to have to pay to play online, which means you've got one map if you're planning on buying just the game. And the season pass is not cheap. It's another $50 tacked onto the $60. You're looking at $110 to play this game. And if you buy the deluxe edition with, I guess it comes with, oh no, it's the ultimate edition. It comes with the deluxe edition. It's $120. I don't think it's worth it. So that's my video. Hope you enjoyed it.